When I went to China for the first time in 1980, the Chinese people didn't have the freedom. They couldn't choose what to wear. They all wore Maoist suits.
Yeah.
They couldn't choose where to live, where to work, what to study. And certainly zero Chinese could travel overseas. Zero. Now you go back to China. The Chinese people can choose what to wear, where to live, where to work, where to study. And guess what? Every year, 120 million Chinese, right? I think it's more than the population in California. 120 million Chinese leave China freely as tourists. Amazingly, 120 million Chinese return to China freely. Now, if China was a communist, gulag, Stalinist state, would you go back to China? And so there's a complete misunderstanding of China.
There was this video I found on TikTok that I want us to watch, and the video tried to explain the misconception between America and China. So let's watch.
Say more.
And let me tell you what the major misunderstanding is. You've seen that China was ruled by Communist Party in 1949, ruled by Communist Party in 1979, it'll be ruled by Communist Party 2019, and you assume that China hasn't changed. It's still being run by the same Communist Party. But the Chinese Communist Party has obviously changed fundamentally. I mean, I went to China for the first time in 1980. When I went to China for the first time in 1980, the Chinese people didn't have the freedom. They couldn't choose what to wear. They all wore Maoist suits.
Yeah.
They couldn't choose where to live, where to work, what to study. And certainly zero Chinese could travel overseas. Zero. Now you go back to China. The Chinese people can choose what to wear, where to live, where to work, where to study. And guess what? Every year, 120 million Chinese, right? I think it's more than the population in California. 120 million Chinese leave China freely as tourists. Amazingly, 120 million Chinese return to China freely. Now, if China was a communist, gulag, Stalinist state, would you go back to China? And so there's a complete misunderstanding of China. Clearly, while the political freedoms in China haven't increased, the personal freedoms of the Chinese people has exploded. And I can tell you, one of the questions that future historians will be very puzzled by is the judgments made by America on China. And I'll tell you why they'll be puzzled. The United States of America is about 240 years old.
Yeah, that's for sure. China has changed a lot. That's true. China has changed a lot. Like I said, I've been to China, and the one thing I admire China for is not even about their political system or their communist nature, right? It's just the fact that they are all push to develop the country. That's just what I love about China. The Communist Party of China is just so committed to build China into a developed world. Have you seen the number of buildings in China? Have you seen their roads? Have you seen? In fact, China is like one of those first world nations, or even much more better than one of those first world nations. China is a great place. And if you ask yourself, how long has all this transformation taken? And you'll be shocked. Maybe 3 or 4 decades. There has been a massive transformation of China within just a short period of time. So you see how much determination the Chinese have, how much patriotism they do have. Now, they also have a lot of corruption and embezzlement and stuff like that. They do have, but they manage to fix the country first. Unlike Africa, where we have dictators in power who steals and embezzle everything, but yet still cannot give us a simple road to drive on. Yet still cannot give us good drinking water. Yet still cannot give us constant electricity. And they are there for how long? 30, 40 years? So China is a very great country. China has transformed a lot. And China is really, really moving ahead. And one more thing that I think we should talk about is the fact that the whole idea of democracy is good, at least on paper, right? And if people or if governments were to really practice it to the full extent, then I think everyone would be happy. But sometimes just pushing these ideas on other countries might not necessarily be a good thing for them. Maybe these countries need to figure out what works best for them. You can see the type of democracy we have in Africa. You can see the type of rule of law we have in Africa. You can see how people can always manipulate the so-called democracy to suit their agendas. It's quite a bizarre thing in Africa. It's quite funny. It's quite funny. But you guys out there, let us know your take on what the speaker said. Do you think that democracy might not be the way forward for other people or other societies? Do you think that societies or countries all over the world should be left to practice whatever system they think works best for them? Let us know in the comment section below, because like always, we love hearing what you have to say. And also, please don't forget to like this video, share this video, follow our Facebook page, and most importantly, subscribe to this channel, because little bit of good will, like the one you've just done, help us a lot. I'm sure we'll ever be grateful to you. So thank you very much for doing just that. And like always, see you in the next one.